If you're a business owner like me, I'm sure you have those moments when you think, I just don't want to do this anymore. It's really flipping stressful. It's like being on a roller coaster with amazing highs and huge lows. Sometimes I think, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through so much stress? On those high days, they sort of make up for it, like today. You can see this car park is full at one of my visitor attractions. We've got thousands of customers. The cash is pouring in the tills. I feel pretty good about things. But tomorrow, I know my inbox is going to be full up with more challenges. You know, maybe high interest rates or inflation out of control or wage growth. Right now, I need to find an extra £100,000 a month compared to this time last year, just because wages have gone up, interest rates have gone up, shipping containers, because I import loads of stuff, has gone up, gone through the roof. They're £10,000 each per container. Last year, they were £3,000. I've got to deal with all of this. And so I think in this video, I want to break down what I do on those days when I'm really stressed, where I just don't want to do it anymore. I mean, it doesn't happen often, maybe one day every single month, which you might think is quite high. But I'm a human being. I face the challenges, I get over them, and I want to give you my top tips. Let's find out more. Those of you that are regular viewers of my channel will know that, yeah, I'm an upbeat person. I think I've got more positivity than most. I've been given the gift of positive thinking. It's not always like that, you know. I have these times where I just feel so low, you know, nearing depression, I suppose, because I'm dealing with so much. And there's no one that you can really share it with. I think that's the big thing being an entrepreneur. It's only really other entrepreneurs that are doing better than you that can really understand what it's really like. We got to the stage in my household where I don't really share things with my wife. You know, it's not because I want to keep secrets. It's just that I'm doing so many things. Me buying another property or buying another business just becomes a very boring conversation. So when I am trying to gather my thoughts on how to deal with the next challenge, I like to go in and be silent. I like to be on my own. What I usually do is go home early and just go to bed. You know, I grab myself a cuppa, get some Yorkshire Gold tea. It always has to be Yorkshire Gold. I can't stand the normal tea. It has to be that gold one. Grab myself some ice cream, maybe a Kit Kat, have a cuppa, and just go into the abyss of silence to really work out my next plan. How am I going to navigate this storm? That's what I do. Very lonely place, this. Very lonely place. But what I've really learned, there is one thing that causes most of the stress. Now, the biggest stress for most business owners is regularizing their cash flow. It's my biggest stress. Honestly, I look sometimes and think, oh my God, this has traded not very well. I've got to find the money from elsewhere. And elsewhere is the big trick for entrepreneurs to come over. Now, this business that I'm in right now is one of our ice cream parlours. This is a 100-year-old ice cream parlour. You can see there, huge queue. It's a sunny day, people are buying ice creams. And I invested in an ice cream company because most of my previous businesses were indoor businesses. They made money in the winter. They were indoor family entertainment centres. No one wanted to go to them on sunny days. So when they're not trading well, I can go to my ice cream business, that is the elsewhere, and pick up some cash from them to help them. And then the indoor business can help the ice cream business in the winter. You see how this works so beautifully? Like any good investor, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to have many fingers in many pies so you can go elsewhere for cash flow if one's not doing so well. And that's what I've tried to build into my career. Regularizing your cash flow, being a master of bringing in more cash flow, de-stresses everything. And then you can really start looking at issues as irritants. And irritants are so much better than issues. I mean, it's true. Look, if you've got more cash flow around you, you can solve all the issues and have a much better, happier life. Something else to consider when building a business is making sure you're preparing for winter. So winter always comes in a business. You like go through seasons, spring when you start and you start planting some seeds and you start seeing the fruits of your labour. Summer, everything's amazing. You're making lots of cash and lots of business owners start to sit on their laurels at that point. What you want to do is make sure that you're investing for winter as soon as you possibly can. You know, to weave new baskets of cash flow so that when winter comes, For example, in that seasonal business, literally in an ice cream parlour, winter is always coming. In the summer, we're thinking this is great. We need to create vertical integration and more revenue streams to get through the winter periods in business. But actually, long-term, macro-looking, businesses also like that. You know, businesses have high years and then low years. And usually they have low years because the entrepreneur or the business owner hasn't thought about what dark times could be like. Now, we're in one of my warehouses right now, which is a process of vertical integration. When other businesses were in the summer making lots of profits, I made sure that I took 50% of those profits and invested it into freehold property or into other businesses, weaving new baskets of cash flow in case winter happened to those businesses. And I've been on that process, that train for the whole of my career. And I promise you this now, if I hadn't have done that, I would have been out. And the facts are absolutely true. We never tire of saying it here on the channel, that most businesses fail. Only 5% get to their 10-year anniversary. And I think some of my original businesses, other things have taken them out of the market, but I've managed to stay in the game because I weaved those new baskets when those businesses were in the summer. So always prepare, gang. Winter is always coming. And that's what the smart business owners do, so that when those stressful times come, and they will come, you're prepared. So what are my top tips for when things get really stressful? Well, the first thing that I do is I start walking around trees. Get yourself a bit of nature. I don't know what happens to our brains when we're walking amongst green, luscious green trees. We start thinking with much better clarity. It thaws our pent-up tension. It does it to other people. My top tips, actually. If you're having a disagreement with a key member of staff or your loved ones, go for a walk with them around a forest and you'll just find that everything just gets better. The second thing that I do, I mean, look at this, gang. Before I tell you the second thing, just look at these wonderful trees. It just lifts you up, and that's what it can do to tension and stress. It makes you think better. The second thing I do is get a notepad and I write down things. There's a top thing that I do is when I'm really stressed out and things feel like they're against me, I write down things that make me happy and things that make me unhappy. And I realise that my happy list far outweighs the unhappy list, and I can easily sort those things out if I just start thinking better with clarity. And then the third thing is your circle of influence around you. One of the best phrases for personal development and effective people, because that's what it's all about, gang, is being an effective entrepreneur, being an effective person that can make stuff happen, is this: you become the average of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with. So if you're surrounding yourself by effective people that can think better, do better, and make stuff happen, really good human beings, then you'll become better. It does rub off on you. And I've learned that. You know, when I started out as a kids entertainer, as a magician, I wanted to be around better entertainers and magicians, and you pick up all that stuff. And then when my business got bigger, I wanted to be around the best people in leisure and entrepreneurship in entertainment. And then I wanted to be around the best people that own day nurseries and outdoor attractions. And that all helped me lift my business up. And it's very true, as your business gets bigger, it's harder to meet those people. But you must improve the circle of influence around you, because you want to harness those effective people to make you more effective. And it's very true that you should work harder on yourself than you do your business, because the better you become, the better the businesses become, and then actually the less stress you have, because you can just handle stuff more. There's this little phrase as well, and I think it's really poignant to think about this now, is if you can't manage stress, you can't manage success. If you can't manage stress, you can't manage success. And so our ability to overcome things quickly is really, really important. And I've got some top tips, actually, of how to deal with disagreements you might have with people, because that can cause massive stress, the stuff that you want to put off. And in fact, I think you need to eat that frog as quick as possible. Now, one of the biggest stress burners in life is actually dealing with stuff. And I know what I just said about dealing with people, and I want to come on to that in a moment. But let's look at cash flow, because that's what I think is the biggest stress for business owners. And you're thinking, oh, customers haven't paid us, or we've lost a contract and you've still got all these massive bills in your business. How are we going to overcome all of this? Well, you get a list, don't you? And you think, right, I'm going to have to call the bank manager and say, can I borrow some money to get through this? Or I'm going to have to get my next client, or I'm going to have to sit with my marketing team to get more sales into the business. And the second you start being proactive about the stuff that's stressing you out, it just starts leaving you. I promise you, you will know this now. You've got a disagreement with a member of your team or a disagreement with your loved one, and you're like, oh, I'm going to send them a text or I'm going to send them an email. It's absolute tosh. Pick up the phone or actually arrange to go and meet them face to face. Because when you talk to someone, you're using tonality and you can see how they're feeling and they can see how you're feeling. By the end of a conversation, their tonality is forward, which you don't get on digital text messages and emails. But you do when you meet someone face to face. You're just a better and you can start dealing with things. People put off face-to-face meetings. People put off phone calls. People put off taking proactive action to deal with the things that are causing them stress. So if you've got a disagreement with someone, get in the car and have a face-to-face meeting. Don't let that 2 weeks or 3 days of, that tummy feeling build up. Just do the stuff. And I'll tell you a little story. I had a disagreement with someone, one of my banks, and I had to send them an email. I had to put it in writing because I wanted it to be official. And before I sent the email, I sent a text message saying, look, I'm sending this email. I have to do it. I'm sorry. And they were really upset about it. And so then I picked up the phone and I said, look, I'm really sorry. I want to repair things. And I picked up the phone every day. And every day I was picking up the phone. I said, I want a face-to-face meeting. And it's all forward now before we have the meeting. Now, if I didn't pick up the phone and I didn't try and address things, by the time we have that meeting, the first 20 minutes of the meeting is going to be really awkward. It's going to take ages to get things over the line. And just being a good human and connecting with emotional intelligence de-stresses things in that situation. That's what I did. And you'll have these conversations if you're employing lots of people when you know that that person isn't right for your business, that causes you lots of stress. But you just got to pull that plaster off and have that honest conversation. Have that honest conversation. It allows them to move on, it allows you to move on, and everyone have a better life. What we're doing is putting too many hours and days of stress when ultimately the problem's going to be dealt with. There's a little phrase I use in business as well. In 2 weeks, most people's problems disappear. So don't let the stress stick around for 2 weeks, because you know you can deal with it. You know you are better than you actually are. But making lists, being proactive, picking up the phone, going to see people, walking amongst trees, pen and paper, writing stuff down, being proactive with problems, creating more cash flow, having multiple pies, multiple eggs in multiple baskets that you can bring in cash from different ways usually solves the most problems. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's given you some hope on tough days and tough times, because they will come. I know I'm going to have them in the future. I've had loads in the past. I'm going to have more in the future. It doesn't matter how big you are, more money, more problems. More businesses, more problems. But I do think there is a degree of safety in volume. So a volume of revenue streams, volume of people, volume of businesses. If you've just got one income stream, one is the worst number in business. One key member of staff, one business, one product, one form of marketing. You want to make sure you de-risk as much as possible. And they're all the things that I've learned to de-stress myself. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's me really giving you a monologue of what I think in business, but I hope it's helped. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe so I can see you in future videos. See ya.